and keep individuals and communities empowered, aka fuck ICE. But what it really is clarifying the route of civil action so that you can sue ICE, because right now it's really...
Look at the screen right now. You are watching a state representative openly laugh while naming a bill with a literal profanity aimed at federal agents. We've moved past simple policy debates. This is a total breakdown of the relationship between state and federal law. You need to see how deep this rabbit hole goes.
Hey, it's Nick Minock with 7 News. When I reached out to Fairfax County Commonwealth's Attorney Steve Descano about why his office dropped so many charges against Abdul Jallo, the illegal immigrant now accused of murdering a Virginia mother at a bus stop, Descano's office partly blamed the victims in his past cases. Descano's office said that victim testimony was crucial for a successful prosecution. Well, I spent some time at the Fairfax County Courthouse today. Here are some of the cases I've been looking at. I found in 3 separate cases. 2 were malicious wounding charges. Another was an assault and battery charge. I found that Descano's office did not subpoena the victim, and there's no record in the public case file of Descano's office even trying to reach out to the victims and Jallo's past cases. Instead, in all 3 cases, Descano dropped them, allowing Jallo to walk free. Now mentor.
Hold on, you need to see this. This reporter, Nick Minock, just uncovered something that should be national news. The district attorney's office claimed they had to drop charges against a violent offender because the victims weren't cooperating. But when Minock actually checked the court records, there wasn't a single subpoena, no record of them even trying to call these victims to testify. Think about that for a second. We're being told our legal system is doing its best while they're quietly letting people with lengthy criminal histories walk free without even trying to prosecute. It's a complete systemic failure masquerading as a lack of evidence. When you see the actual paperwork, or lack thereof, it paints a much darker picture than just mismanagement. It looks like a deliberate choice to look the other way, and now a mother is gone because of it. We're seeing a pattern here where the rights of the accused are being prioritized so heavily that the basic safety of the public is being treated as an afterthought. It's chilling to watch a reporter do the job that the actual investigators were supposed to do.
What's your reaction to an illegal immigrant murdering a woman allegedly in Fairfax County last week?
In the middle of a conversation, thank you.
Sir, what's your reaction to a Virginia mother being murdered allegedly by an illegal immigrant in Fairfax County, an area that you represent, sir? You don't have anything to say? Delegate Helmer? Lieutenant Governor, what's your reaction to this murder in Fairfax County? No response?
Watch the body language of these politicians. Every single one of them, people who are supposed to represent the citizens, literally turns their back and walks away the moment they are asked about a specific murder in their own district. It is a masterclass in cowardice. When a reporter asks for a reaction to a mother being murdered and the public servants have absolutely nothing to say, the contract between the government and the people is officially broken. Notice how they don't even offer a standard no comment or a word of sympathy for the family. They just keep walking. It shows a complete disconnect from the reality of the people they serve. They are more afraid of saying something that might upset their political base than they are of the fact that a violent crime happened on their watch. This is why people are losing faith in the system. When you can't even get a human response to a tragedy, you know you're dealing with a machine that has lost its soul.
Somebody told me that working public safety with certain people in this chamber was like using my gas-powered leaf blower while wearing snow skis. And I've been biting my tongue. But then came Abdul Jallo. You see, in Fairfax County, there's a pretty good argument that not only would Stephanie Minter still be alive if we enforced our border policies, but that people who have violated our border policies actually get treated better. Better. Taking information from the reporting of WJLA and Nick Minock, I learned, and I quote, from their website, Steve will make charging and plea decisions that limit or avoid immigration consequences wherever possible. I could actually understand if it said, wherever practicable.
That gas-powered leaf blower on snow skis analogy might sound funny, but listen to the frustration in his voice. He's describing the absolute absurdity of trying to maintain public safety when the rules are designed to make you fail. It's like being asked to do a job while your hands are tied behind your back and everyone is screaming at you for not moving fast enough. He highlights a tragic reality. Stephanie Mentor might still be alive today if existing border policies were actually enforced instead of being treated as suggestions. Notice how he calls out the intellectual dishonesty of the current situation. Instead of just passing an open borders bill and letting the public vote on it, they're keeping the laws on the books but refusing to fund or support the people who enforce them. It's a strategy of sabotage from within. By making the process so difficult that ICE can't function, they achieve their goal without ever having to go on the record for a controversial vote. It's a high-stakes game of political optics where the losers are the regular citizens just trying to get home from a bus stop.
Senator Warner, I have a question pertaining to ICE. So Governor Spanberger is telling ICE they need to obtain judicial warrants to detain illegal aliens, but we recently had a case here in Virginia where an illegal immigrant with an extensive and violent criminal history has been released back into the community several times due to this rule and has now stabbed and killed another woman. In cases like this, where is the line, and should Virginia cooperate with ICE more freely in order to protect the lives of Americans?
Well, listen, of course, if someone has a history of violent crime, they should be arrested and deported if they're here illegally. But I'll point out that over 80% of the individuals that have been picked up by ICE in Virginia as they try to hit their daily quotas have had no criminal history or record other than coming into our country. And many of them, even having come in undocumented, were going through a process that would bring about legal status. So they're trying to play by whether the amnesty rules or other rules that were put forward.
Watch how Senator Mark Warner pivots here when he's asked about the specific murder case. He immediately jumps to a statistic claiming that 80% of people picked up have no criminal history. It's a classic deflect and distract move. Even if that 80% number is accurate, look at the 20% he's ignoring. We're talking about 1/5 of the people being detained having criminal records. And in cases like the one being discussed, those records are violent and extensive. By focusing on the innocent 80%, he's essentially saying that the victims of the 20% are just acceptable collateral damage for a larger policy goal. It's a cold, mathematical approach to human life. He mentions people playing by the rules, while the reporter is literally asking about a woman who was stabbed to death by someone who broke every rule on the books. This disconnect between the reality on the ground and the talking points in Washington is why people feel so betrayed by their representatives. It's not just a debate about numbers. It's about a fundamental failure to protect the most vulnerable people in the community.
So several legal experts I've spoken to say ICE does not need a judicial warrant for an immigration arrest. And some experts I've spoken to say that it appears that the governor here is trying to put up roadblocks to make ICE's job harder. When ICE wants to detain an illegal immigrant in the Fairfax County Jail, they send detainers and administrative warrants to the sheriff, which is what happened in the case of Abdul Jallow, who has a lengthy criminal history and is now charged with murdering a Virginia mother at a Fairfax County bus stop. But Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger's office says if ICE wants him, they should request a signed judicial warrant. However, legal experts I spoke to agree that ICE cannot go to a local Fairfax County judge to get a judicial warrant. Ben Messer with the American Immigration Lawyers Association says ICE can go to a federal judge for a warrant.
ICE can go to a federal judge, a federal district judge there in Virginia, and say this person is charged with this crime in the Commonwealth, and they probably can get access to some of the records that have been used to charge the guy and say, this is why we think he's dangerous.
But former federal prosecutor Zach Smith says ICE cannot get a federal warrant for a state crime, which is what Jallow is charged with.
Essentially, what the governor and others who support her position are doing is they're making it more difficult for ICE to do their jobs. It could lead to some of these violent repeat offenders being released back onto the street before federal authorities can pick them up. And essentially, what this is designed to do is to throw additional roadblocks in the way of federal immigration authorities being able to effectively and safely.
This part is crucial for understanding the legal trap being set. The governor is demanding judicial warrants for ICE to pick up criminals. But here's the catch that the legal experts explain. That tool doesn't even exist in the way she's asking for it. It's a classic catch-22. She's requesting a specific piece of paper that local judges won't sign because it's a federal matter, and federal judges won't sign because it's a state crime. By making a reasonable-sounding request for a warrant that is legally impossible to obtain, they effectively create a sanctuary state without ever having to use that word. It's brilliant, but devastatingly effective sabotage. Notice how the experts point out that this will lead to violent repeat offenders being released back onto the street before federal authorities can even get near them. They're building a bureaucratic wall not to keep people out, but to keep the law from working. It's a masterclass in using red tape as a weapon against public safety, all while maintaining a veneer of procedural fairness for the cameras. If this level of government sabotage concerns you, hit that like button and share this with someone who needs to see the court records for themselves. Let me know in the comments. Do you think this is incompetence or a deliberate strategy? See you in the next one.